Week 11 power ranking starting off at number 32. It's the Titans. They haven't even looked a little good this year. At 31, we've got the Browns. Their only highlight has been this man, Myles Garrett. At 30, I've got to go with the Jets, and they're only this high because they just beat the Browns. At 29, I've got the Raiders. The Geno Smith experience with Pete Carroll did not work. At 28, I've got the Saints. I mean, their team just isn't good, but I guess they just beat the Panthers. At 27, I've got the Commanders. I mean, they've been disappointing. I know they've been injured, but the defense is bad either way. At 26, I've got the New York Giants. I mean, they got a bright future in Jackson Dart, I guess. At 25, I've got the Bengals. Even when they get Joe Burrow back, the defense is still horrible. At 24, I've got the Falcons. I mean, they've just been disappointing this year. At 23, I've got the Dolphins, mainly because they don't have a good record, but they're still better than these teams below them. Like, they still got the talent there. At 22, I've got the Cowboys. I can never tell if they're going to have a good or bad week. They're random. At 21, I've got the Cardinals. They're still not good, but at least they sometimes put up a fight. At 20, I've got the Panthers, but it's another team. It's just you never know which version of this team you're going to get week on and week out. At 19, I've got my Minnesota Vikings. They're inconsistent, and JJ McCarthy's not him. At 18, I do have the Jacksonville Jaguars. These two need to get on the same page. At 17, I've got the Texans. They've got one of the best defenses in the league, but that offense needs to step it up, kind of like how they just did this past week. At 16, I've got the Steelers. The defense has been underwhelming, and Aaron Rodgers just has not been good. At 15, I have the 49ers. In the absence of Brock Purdy, Mac Jones has played pretty well, and they're playing pretty well for the amount of injuries they have in total. At 14, I've got the Green Bay Packers. They're just one of the more inconsistent teams. This offense needs to figure out what they want to be. At 13, I have who I think is the most underrated team in the league. At 12, I've got the Broncos. I know they're 8-2, but they are insanely overrated. Bo Nix is not good. At 11, I have the Ravens. They've won the last 3 games. They have Lamar back. They're starting to get healthy. They're dangerous. Starting off the top 10, I had the Kansas City Chiefs. I would love to put them higher, but they keep dropping games I feel like they shouldn't drop. And at 9, I had the team that beat them, the Buffalo Bills, but I couldn't put them higher than this because that loss to the Dolphins is just ugly. At 8, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield has been balling this season. At 7, I'm going to go with the Chargers. Their defense has been really good, and Justin Herbert keeps doing what he needs to do. At number 6, I got the Detroit Lions. Just like everybody thought they would, they're dangerous this year. At 5, I have the Colts. You could make a case for them being a little higher, but I want to see what they do against some tougher competition first. At 4, I've got the Seahawks. They've been quietly one of the best offenses and one of the best defenses. At 3, I've got the Eagles, but you can really make a case for them being lower, honestly. At 2, I'm going with the Patriots. Drake May's been balling. And finally, the number 1 team as of week 11 is the Rams.